Hello, Ghost Critic with end of the month, December's Viewer's Choice. Sorry it's a little late, which will be explained as I go on with the kind of overview of this book and how much I enjoyed it. It was chosen for me by Edward2962, and he said either pick up something from the X-Men from the 60s or Doom Patrol from the 90s. So I chose this very nice copy of the X-Men to Marvel Masterworks Volume 1, and it has the very first 10 issues of X-Men ever. A title, an actual run I've never read until now. So what have we got? It's September 1963, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby working together, making what will arguably be the biggest mutant team, if not superhero team, for Marvel for a long time. Surprising to me, it only came out every other month. I don't know whether this was something that happened a lot back in the 60s, but I'm very much surprised. And being a kid at that age, you must have been absolutely gagging for the next issue, because I can just imagine people getting very excited over this. Apparently it struggled a lot, but still, looking back now, it's a brilliant set of titles. We get obviously introduced to all the characters straight away from the first page. So you've got Iceman, who's still a young boy really compared to everyone else, and he's the prankster of the team. You've got Beast, who, you know, with all his agility, but he's super intelligent, you know. Why say one word to explain something when you can use 20 in the case of the Beast? Then you've got Angel, who's the suave, handsome, all the ladies want him. And then obviously Cyclops is still, or originally still, the humorless, angst-ridden leader of the team. And of course you have Professor Xavier. In the first issue, that is the team until halfway through, and it's Jean Grey coming in, and she is your typical kind of early 60s young girl. You know, she's interested in fashion. She is used predominantly as, you know, the typical female role. She's interested in fashion. She mentions Dior. Her costume could give Dior a run for its money. Her exercises and her training in the danger room are very kind of sedate training. At one point, Cyclops has her using her telekinetic ability to do cross-stitch. It is very much a book of its time. It's got the sharp suits, it's got the trilby hats, there's beatnik bars, you know, the beat poets, and just complete crazy, you know, kind of hippie-ish dudes knocking around. Of course, with the heroes, there are lots of villains. Straight away in issue 1, you are given, you know, the arch nemesis of the X-Men, Magneto. So he's introduced straight away. There's the Blob, there's the Banisher, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants are introduced. So that's, you've got Scarlet Witch, you've got Quicksilver, you've got Mastermind, and you've got Toad. You also get a couple of guest starring roles from Submariner, the Avengers, and not the Vanisher, Kazar. Kazar makes a brief visit in the last issue. What did surprise me, and I suppose this is kind of naive of me to say this, and it was something that I picked up straight away when Edward saw that I picked one of the books he'd recommended. and that it was this. He did kind of say that this was going to be, some people found it a tough read, or something along those lines. And I thought to myself, a comic from the 60s, really? I really expected to just fly through this book. But heavy going is the wrong way, is the wrong thing to say. I can't think what better way to say it, really, because it is a fun and entertaining read. But there is a lot there. Call me naive. I thought this was going to be, you know, a done in a day kind of deal. And that this kind of review would be up so much sooner. But no, Stan Lee really, you know, pours every bit of his, you know, writing skills into a very, very, you know, early run of the X-Men. Jack Kirby's art is obviously early 60s, it's not his 70s, grandoise, you know, intricate, every single panel is filled to the brim. It's very much not that style. Let's see if I can show you some pages. You know, kind of like the 70s Jack Kirby start of a comic would usually be, you know, your first page with your title, and then the second page and the third page would be a double splash page, and it would just be filled to the brim of Jack Kirby goodness. It's not like this. This is very kind of, there are elements of Jack Kirby in there that you can see straight away. Sorry about the glare there, hope you can see that properly. But to, you know, the kind of untrained eye, the ones who hadn't noticed who'd written this, I don't honestly think you would know this was a Kirby drawn comic. But still, it's the super team, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby together. They created so many great heroes, superhero teams back in the 60s that, you know, you just can't knock them. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you very much, Edward, for recommending this and pointing it out to me. Ashamed that I've not read this sooner, but that's it. So yeah, it's very cheap on Amazon. Go and pick this up. 10 issues. It will, you know, you'll be there for hours and hours and hours reading this comic. Anyway, that's the last viewer's choice of this year. So I'm ready for your next recommendations. I'm gonna add something. I want this next one to be themed. And I did say in my last video that was an eBay kind of haul that I wanted to read more kind of sci-fi, space opera-y type comics. So that is the theme for next month's, January's Viewer's Choice. Recommend me a graphic novel that I can easily buy, like from Amazon or from a comic book shop. You know, try not to do single issues. A graphic novel would be more appreciative. But the theme has to be sci-fi or space, in space some way. Let me see what you can throw at me. So that's it. Thanks again, Edward, for recommending that to me. I really enjoyed that. And that's me out for a new Viewer's Choice. Bye bye.